So, Pete, since you are a master geographer, have you ever heard of Christiania?
I got three things to say to you. First, intros are my thing. Shut up your face. Second, no, I don't know anything about that, and I suspect you knew before asking me. But three, I'm going to assume, based on your trip, it's some area where the donut munchers congregate, and you're going to tell me all about it.
There's a difference between a Danish and a donut, my man.
But you get it. It's all the same.
So,
Well, hold on. Do you even know the difference between a Danish and a donut?
obviously,
No, you don't.
yeah, a Danish is baked, a donut's fried.
I don't know enough to dispute what you've said, so I'm going to give you at least half credit, followed by I hate you.
Obviously, I'm as smart as I am good looking, Pete.
And humble. Hashtag stay humble.
Stay humble. This is a new thing for our show. Stay humble. Do you even know where Denmark is? Do you know that's a country?
Look, it's not important. It's not Great Britain. I learned all about Great Britain in the
Yeah,
last
it's definitely
episode.
not Great Britain. It's close, though. Close-ish.
We didn't have to bail them out in WW2, did we?
Debatable. Anyway, let's just say Denmark, in theory, is like an hour and a half flight from Edinburgh to Copenhagen. That's where I went next.
Where they make tobacco.
Lots of tobacco.
See? Boom.
Yeah. You know, I heard so many like tricks and tips and stuff when it comes to tobacco in Denmark. Don't remember any of it.
What do you mean tricks and tips?
I don't know.
Like consumption, production, farming?
Yeah, consumption. How to make it last longer, the right way to put it in your mouth. I don't know.
God.
Tricks to do with the can.
Straight edge noob.
Yeah. Dude, so I went to Denmark after I was in Scotland. And yeah, being a straight edge guy in Scotland was hard enough because like everyone was super cool and wanted to buy me a drink. One fan actually came up to me at the second show, was like, "Hey man, I'm really sorry. I have to go, so I can't like actually buy you a beer, man. But here's £5, dude. Get yourself a beer because I really love what you did. Thank you." I was like, dude, that was humbling.
Yeah,
I wish more people just give me tips.
Look, that money was earmarked. If you didn't buy a beer with that cash, you disrespected him and the work he put in to make that money. You're a bad person.
Anyone who wants to buy me a drink, I've legit done this before. I'm like, actually, is there any chance you could buy me food? Would you mind if I spent this on food?
That just makes you sound awfully homeless.
Yeah, it does. Speaking of homeless, that goes into my story.
What?
Yeah.
Because everyone is homeless in Christiania?
No, but statistically, more often than not, they are. Yeah.
How does that happen? Wait, what is this thing and why are they homeless?
Yes. So, I was in Copenhagen after I was in Scotland. And in Copenhagen, there's this place called Christiania. Now, I had heard about this before, like a long time ago. And I just knew kind of the general idea, but I didn't really know anything about it. So, when I got to Denmark, I met up with my buddy Jesper, who said he'd take care of me for the week. Jesper brought me over to Europe, to Copenhagen, to do their biggest show of the year. He runs this company called Copenhagen Championship Wrestling, and it was like their WrestleMania. So he's like, you know what we need? International superstar Jake Oman. So, all right, that's enough. I won't be cocky the rest of this episode.
Bullshit.
I just had to get it out. So,
Hashtag stay humble.
yeah, so Jesper is like, hey, man, so tomorrow I have a couple business meetings, and I want to take you to like my favorite place to just kind of chill out. So we're walking through Copenhagen. He's like, yeah, man, I'm going to take you to Christiania. And then he started explaining to me what it was. So I was like, yeah, man, isn't that? And I threw out my basic knowledge. I was like, so isn't Christiania kind of like an independent country located within the city of Copenhagen? He's like, yeah, man, pretty much. Now, like, technically, that's not 100% the case, but that's pretty much what this is. So Christiania is a place, and we just looked up how big it is. So it's like 19 acres located within the city of Copenhagen. It's like its own country. It's qualified as like an anarchist commune, but also you could call it like a hippie commune or like an old punk rocker commune.
Anarchist does sound much tougher than like hippie commune.
It totally does. So in theory, this area, which was just like, it used to be like military barracks a long time ago, got abandoned, and then squatters just took it in the 70s and claimed it.
So for those of you who don't think dibs works, apparently it totally does.
Yeah. And People have tried to, like, Denmark's tried to take it back a few times. Just didn't work. I guess they weren't willing to put in the effort.
Let them have their 19 acres. We can get all the homeless population apparently right here and not have to deal with them.
It's like you can throw all the artists in one place and it takes them out of our city. Cool. That's Christiania, Pete. So
you're really selling it.
Yeah. So Jesper takes me to Christiania. So you walk into this area and it's just this super cool, chill vibe. So like you look around and there's just beautiful artwork and graffiti and stuff like everywhere on everything. Now, the thing that kind of sucks about it is photography is not allowed. At least in the first couple acres, there's no photography allowed because law kind of doesn't apply here. Like there's kind of no law, even though they're within the realm of Danish law. You can just kind of do whatever. So a lot of people go here to smoke hash and buy and sell hash and weed. And that's just what it is. So you walk into the community to what they call the green light district.
Of course they do.
Yep.
Why wouldn't they call it that?
And the main street, Pusher Street. And you can't take any photos because they don't want you taking pictures of illegal buying, selling, or doing of weed.
Is all of this funny to them?
It's completely legitimate. It's just a thing. It's not funny. It's just life.
But they have to have some kind of sense of humor if like Pusher Street and the Green Light District. Like they know what these things are.
Oh, yeah. I'd really like to know how like the group community thought, you know what we should call it?
Well, you think Pusher Street was a thing before we started using pusher instead of drug dealer? Ooh. Or do you think drug dealers are called pushers because of this place?
I wonder if the etymology can be traced back to Christiania. Just like how when I was in Scotland, I learned that shit-faced originated there because people in these high-rise buildings didn't have...
Oh, no.
Do you want to know?
I mean, I do. I feel like I know where this is going. It sounds real gross.
So all these like buildings in Edinburgh, people live multiple floors up, and there was no plumbing in these buildings. So you just go in a bucket, and eventually at night, you'd throw it out the window, and you're only allowed to throw it out the window after 10 p.m., which is also the time the bars closed. So a lot of dudes that were drunk would be walking down the street, boom, get hit in the face.
That's wonderful. Ugh.
Think about that.
So
maybe Pusher actually did come from Christiania.
Everyone knows that's where you go to get drugs, from your Pusher or Pusher Street, Christiania.
A lot of drugs and a lot of coffee shops and a lot of souvenir shops, man. Christiania, beautiful. Super bummer that you can't take photos in the first like couple acres. I did take some photos other places. It eventually says like photo okay in the areas where you can't buy and sell drugs.
So they're lawless, except they follow rules.
They follow that rule. Yeah. Also, there's not really law, but they don't allow hard drugs. So it's just drinking and marijuana.
Is there any kind of law enforcement presence?
I did see some Danish cops. However, they were like there, I think, just to be a general presence to like make sure nothing really bad happens. So like there's no violence. There's not supposed to be like any type of violence there or anything like that. It's just a place where everyone's supposed to chill out, love each other, have fun, be creative, and get high and drunk.
And have a crazy homeless population.
There are a decent amount of homeless people here, man. And you know what? They're cool with it. Because Denmark's social welfare system takes care of these people. That's just cool. And they can just hang out there, no problem.
Well, what about this crazy homeless guy you alluded to?
Yeah, so Sean. This is my friend. My friend Sean.
Should I not call him crazy homeless guy?
You can call him my friend Sean. But if you want to call him crazy Sean, that works.
You think he'll listen to this podcast?
Probably not. He does have a smartphone. He hasn't had a home for over 10 years, but he does have a smartphone. Yeah. I haven't seen if he has Facebook yet. I should probably try and find him.
Because, fun fact about Jake Oman, expert Facebook stalker.
Oh, expert. After I talked about going on a bad date with that girl a few weeks ago, we totally Facebook stalked her, and I found her, and I was tempted to message her and ask her what movie we saw, but I was like, wow, that's the creepiest thing I've thought of in the last year or two. I better go ahead and act like I never found this girl's page.
I better go ahead and act like a normal human being
Yeah.
who hangs out with crazy Sean.
It's totally not hard to find these things. You can find anyone, all right? But if Sean doesn't have Facebook, you're not going to be able to find him because you know what? He doesn't have a home. But if you want to find him, he's probably in Christiania.
Getting high.
Getting so high. Actually, I didn't see Sean smoke any weed. I just saw Sean drink a lot of beers. So my buddy Jesper and I go to just chill in Christiania. And he has a business meeting there. By the way, he met this other guy that they just call Mr. Black. And I didn't catch a name, just Mr. Black. He got referred to as Sorte a few times, which just means black. And this dude isn't exactly an expert in English, but he kept trying to tell me all of these jokes. These really bad English jokes, or really bad Danish jokes in English. And I'm not going to lie and say that every single one fell flat, but man, this was like another level of bad dad joke attempt.
Well, and this is just me being an idiot. How many of those jokes involve donuts?
None of them involved donuts. He also tried to get me to go up to a group of Danish girls and say a line in Danish that was very vulgar.
For his own entertainment?
Oh,
or did he think this
for
was
his
going to help you?
entertainment. No, totally for his entertainment. He had no vested interest in my ability to talk to women.
How did you know it was vulgar?
He told me before I went and said it.
So
I wouldn't have said it.
Well, he's terrible at jokes and he's terrible at setting other people up to look stupid.
In Japan, some people tried to get me to say other things to other Japanese people in Japanese. And I obviously, they're going to have you say something weird. It's never going to be a normal thing. And it's never going to be what they say it is.
No, it means, hi, how are you? Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Yeah. O genki desu ka? I know that.
Oh, man. I don't even know if I have to censor that later or what just happened.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. Genki desu. Daijoubu. So, yeah, Sean, punk rock Sean, right? I meet this guy.
I thought he was crazy homeless Sean.
Yeah, punk rock Sean, crazy homeless Sean. I meet him and start talking to him, and he actually gives me kind of a tour of Christiania. And we see like just all sorts of cool things. It's a beautiful place, man. Way cool. And everyone's just chill. A lot of people are drunk or high, but everyone's just chill. They want to be your friend. I actually talked to so many people. And, in Denmark, almost everyone knows English and speaks English pretty well. But there were a lot of people there who didn't, but they actually made an effort and an attempt to speak to me and learn about me. And they were super cool people. And while we're walking around, Sean just keeps telling me these ridiculous stories. Like, he talked about so he's training to be a professional wrestler, right? But he was talking about how he bleeds from his head a lot from this scar. And I'm like, well, man, yeah. And he has a little scar in the middle of his forehead. I'm like, well, yeah, man, how'd you get that? And without missing a beat and not acting like it's weird at all, fighting Nazis. Yeah.
I feel like that prompts follow-up questions.
Fighting Nazis. Well, yeah, so I'm like, oh, tell me more about fighting Nazis, man. So he's like a punk rock drummer. And if you know anything about like punk rock in the 80s in the US, it kind of went over that way too, where there's just a lot of fights going on. And over there's groups of fascists and Nazis. So he just decided he had to fight them.
Are fascist and Nazi interchangeable?
In this context, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do they mean the same thing then? Like what we think of as a Nazi, like the Hitler affiliation, or is a Nazi just a fascist?
Yeah, well, I mean, Nazi is within the realm of fascist. Yeah, I feel like that's fair to say. In general, yeah. So that's also, yeah, in the part of town I stayed in Copenhagen for a few days called Nørrebro, they actually had a lot of anti-fascist propaganda up.
This is a two-part question. First part is everything end in bruh.
Several communities do, yes.
And secondly, what? Like it's just, we talking stickers, graffiti? Is there some kind of like covert,
a lot of posters,
subliminal?
A lot of posters. It really looked badass, actually. And then there was some graffiti too. Just anti-fascist and F those people type things.
And if you feel real oppressed, just go get high because that's cool.
You just go to Christiania, man. It's cool. It's legal-ish. They're not going to arrest you for it.
You're just going to kind of look the other way.
Yeah. Well, and also in like that no photo area, the green light district, a lot of obviously tourists and students and stuff come into that area, but they actually never go past that area. So if you go past that area into like the actual inner part of Christiania, where you can take photos and videos and just chill. It's super awesome. So if you get a chance to go there, don't just go in the stupid green light district.
Don't just go to buy drugs. Walk around.
Yeah, go to meet people. Go to the super awesome convenience store place we went. By the way, outside the convenience store place was a huge poster for the show I was on, Copenhagen Championship Wrestling, and the show is called Ragnarok. Yours truly, right in the middle of the flyer.
Wow, so they had really no talent. Like, is that why you made the flyer?
I'm gonna let it go, and I'm not gonna say anything about my talent. So Sean also was asking about the United States, and I was like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm from here. I'm da-da-da. You ever been to the States?" No, I'm not allowed in the United States.
Nazis again?
No, even better. I was like, "Oh, really, man? Why aren't you allowed to come to the United States? Fighting cops." And then he told me like 4 stories about fighting police.
Does he just seek authority? Well, fascism is not. Anyway, did he just seek authority figures out in the States to fight?
I think punk rock people just fight, man. They just fight and they swing. And if the person ends up being a cop, they end up being a cop. And sometimes Sean has to go to jail for it for a few days or a week, or at one point, like 2 months.
I wonder, is that an inconvenience for you if you're homeless? Or is that like a hotel stay?
Man, I didn't ask that. But he didn't seem to mind any of this.
Yeah, how big of a deterrent could this possibly be? If anything, I would almost think, well, yeah, I needed some medical attention, so fought a cop. Because, boom, there you go. I get some food, some medical attention, I'm good to go.
Well, medical care is free in Denmark. So is higher education.
Of course.
So you don't have to worry about that.
So is he smart, too?
They care about the people. I don't think he went on to higher education. He's just a punk rock drummer. He actually told me he's supposed to be drumming for Eddie Vedder in like 2 or 3 months.
No.
Dude, he said a lot of stuff that was kind of hard to believe, but honestly, at no point did I not believe what he was saying.
Where do you keep a drum set if you don't have a home?
Yeah, he can't own one because he had a backpack and he told me that was everything he owned. So I don't know. Maybe he shows up at a studio. There was a recording studio in Christiania because Sean introduced me to another friend of his, a transgender woman named Jenny. Who was going in there to record some music that day.
Look, our audience by this point has got to be so far and so wide. Somebody who knows Eddie Vedder, ask him to vet this story.
Yeah, his name's Sean. Punk rock Sean. He's Danish. There's probably not too many punk rock drummers named Sean that are Danish.
Or at least ones that hang out in Christiania.
It makes sense to me that Eddie Vedder would go to Christiania.
Because why the hell not?
By the way, side note, several times I've wanted to start Pearl Jam cover band.
No, you didn't.
Just because I really want to sing like Eddie Vedder. Like, I also want to tell people that when I'm traveling, what do you do? I'll be like, yeah, I'm a Eddie Vedder impersonator. Have
you considered doing the same thing with like Scott Stapp?
Ooh, do I sound like Scott Stapp?
No, I'm just saying like Scott Stapp, also Creed or Oasis. There's a couple bands that it's just like...
Yeah, I get that. I did watch Creed 2 on the way home. Great movie.
Different Creed, dog.
Great movie. But yeah, so Sean, man, he just kept telling me these wild stories. And I met Mr. Black, and then I met all these other just very peculiar, interesting people. Christianity, it was the best. We went there a few times.
Of course you did.
I did drugs.
Because you kept getting hungry.
I kept doing drugs none of the times. Oh, man. Yeah, Denmark, not a great place to have the munchies, dude. It's so expensive.
For real?
Yeah, Denmark's like 5 times the price of anything else, especially if you're a tourist. If you work there, minimum wage is a lot of money. So it's not as big of a deal. Like when it comes to like comparing it, but like a small black coffee is like $5.
Well, within that context, I mean, if you're going to have coffee, what does, say, a Danish cost?
Probably $5. Same price as like a donut.
That was all I had to contribute to that particular statement.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. Yeah, I mean, and much like a donut, I think that rounds out this story.
Oh, now we're at puns. Great.
Yeah.
That probably is a good time to end it.
But this is at Christiania and my punk rock friend Sean. So I was videoing a lot of this trip, And I actually told Sean right after I met him, I was like, oh man, I got to record you telling me some of these stories. And then we just didn't get that done. I wish I would have. Although if I find him on Facebook, I'm just going to be like, hey man, can you record yourself telling a story and just send it to me? That if I do that, that'll be up on the YouTube. I want everyone to know Sean. He's awesome.
Well, from, in a different light when he's not touring with Eddie Vedder.
Oh, he doesn't tour with Eddie Vedder. He probably is not allowed to leave Denmark. All right. Christiane is as far as he is allowed to get out of Copenhagen. All right.
He's got a 19-acre ankle bracelet.
Sweet. So that's another one of my European tales. I'll probably have another one next week. I don't know. But until then, at Off the Cliff Pod, at Jake Oman 2012, at Multimedia Hustle. Follow us on all that and let us know what you think. And we'll catch you next week.